population control, and microwave radiation. I've never paid much attention to conspiracy theories, but then I began to think about it and I started asking myself what-if questions. What if some elite group believes we are doing irreversible damage to the planet and that Earth cannot sustain a growing human population? Indeed, this is what many people think, so this what-if doesn't have to be restricted to some elite group. What if this elite group thinks that a more sustainable population would be perhaps 1 billion people instead of 6.7 billion? What if this elite group doesn't necessarily want to kill people outright? They need to devise a way to reduce the population without letting anyone know their master plan. What would they do? Well, this elite group would do something to interfere with reproduction, something that might affect sperm or egg cells. Interestingly, infertility is on the rise in Western countries. Couples are having difficulty getting pregnant. While many factors may account for this infertility, one possible contributor is the cell phone. We have no idea what cell phones are doing to human egg cells, but we have evidence that cell phones can interfere with sperm motility, viability, and morphology. The longer a man uses a cell phone, the greater the damage to sperm. Keeping the cell phone on the hip is not a good idea for either sex. Wireless laptop computers, and now the iPad, emit microwave radiation just like cell phones. These computers are held closer to the genitals and are used for longer periods than cell phones, so if the cell phone doesn't do the damage, the Wi-Fi enabled device will. To ensure that this damage is done, it's important to expose children to microwave radiation, and one way to do this is to put Wi-Fi in schools. And kids need to be exposed at home as well, so the wireless router was invented. Are you addicted yet? What would this elite group do with women who are already pregnant? Women who worked on computers decades ago had a higher miscarriage rate than those who did not use computers. So this concept that microwave computers could contribute to miscarriage is not implausible. Doctors warn pregnant women to not drink alcohol, to not take certain types of medication, and to refrain from smoking. They should also warn them to avoid wireless technology. What would this elite group do about children who are already born? Well, the DECT baby monitor is a wireless monitor that generates microwave radiation. It is kept close to the crib so the mother can listen to the baby if she wakes up. Some monitors come with a clip that attaches to the mother's waist, so her egg cells are exposed to microwave radiation. A wireless baby monitor exposes mother and child to this radiation. Indeed, it exposes everyone in the home to microwaves. Survival of the fittest states that the weak will not survive. By weeding out sensitive individuals who are unable to tolerate microwave radiation, perhaps a new population will emerge, and they will be microwave tolerant. What would this elite group do about those people who don't use cell phones or wireless computers? Exposure of those who do not use wireless technology is achieved by blanketing entire communities with citywide Wi-Fi, and putting Wi-Fi in cafes, hotels, airports, and airplanes. And if the Wi-Fi doesn't expose them to enough radiation, cell phone antennas can be placed near schools, on office and apartment buildings, on church steeples, and on fire halls. And then there are the really powerful WiMAX antennas with a radius of 50 kilometers. With WiMAX, entire cities can be blanketed with microwave radiation. Those living near a military base, an airport, a weather station, or a shipping route are exposed to radar that uses microwaves. And finally, there are satellites that beam radiation to Earth. And broadcast antennas that can increase exposure to radio frequencies, a cousin to microwave radiation. Closer to home, smart meters provide one way to increase radiation exposure in every home. Already, people who have smart meters attached to their homes are complaining of ill health. With all this microwave exposure, a growing population is becoming electrically hypersensitive. According to one study, by 2017, 50% of the population will complain of electrosensitivity. Symptoms include anxiety, sleeping problems, fatigue, headaches, joint pain, dizziness and nausea, depression, poor short-term memory, skin problems, and ringing in the ears. Does anyone honestly believe we can continue to increase our exposure to microwave radiation without any harmful effects until some magic guideline is reached, a guideline that protects us against only heating? So is this a conspiracy by some elite group trying to reduce the global population, or is it just greed and stupidity that have the same effect? This video is intended as a wake-up call. If you care about the quality of life and the health and welfare of future generations, please help reduce our exposure to microwave radiation. We are not the first civilization on this planet that destroyed itself. The early warning signs are all around us. We need only to open our eyes and see what is happening and to react according to our values. If you do not believe or do not care, you need to do nothing. But if the threat of microwave radiation makes sense to you, then please act accordingly. We need to work together. Whether you are a doctor, lawyer, parent, teacher, whatever you do, it will take all of us to reverse this microwave madness. Let us learn how to use this technology safely, so that we can continue to enjoy its benefits for generations to come. Surely that is in everyone's best interest.